everybody, it's me Jessie with Pampered Chef, bringing you all things fun and foodie from right here in my kitchen. It's Wednesday night and it's time to whip something up that's absolutely delicious and easy and budget friendly. This month I gave you a choice between canned cranberry sauce, canned salmon, and cottage cheese. All budget friendly recipes are all budget friendly ingredients that you might have hiding around in your fridge or your pantry and that you might want to use up. So tonight we're going to actually make a really filling, delicious pasta and a salad using cottage cheese and canned cranberry sauce. So let me just adjust my camera here just a little bit so you can see, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, our pasta recipe tonight is so simple. This is actually a family favorite from when I was a little girl. My mom called it Romanoff noodles and we had it a lot. So this brings back a ton of memories and it's so good. It's so fast, it's so easy, and it's super delicious. We're going to start off tonight with the micro cooker, and this is the large 3-quart one. And I'm gonna put in about a half of a bag of egg noodles. I'm not going to use the whole bag because this makes a ton of food. I'm just going to fill the micro cooker about an inch above the line of the pasta, just with tap water. And then we're going to pop that in the microwave. Now, you can use this micro cooker to cook any type of pasta. If you were doing a traditional like elbow macaroni or a penne or something, you might want to cook it for like 10 to 11 minutes. Since this is an egg noodle, it cooks a little bit faster. So I'm only going to put it in for about 8 minutes because we're going to cook it in the sauce for a few minutes too. You know, you don't want it to be mushy. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I have this about an inch over the pasta, and then we have to add some salt into our water so that our pasta has some flavor. A couple of cranks with that, and then I'm just going to put the lid on here and pop it in the microwave. Like I said, that's going in for 8 minutes. It's so easy. That can also be used, the micro cooker can also be used for rice, for vegetables, for mashed potatoes. It comes in 3 sizes and it's so handy. All right, let's get started on our sauce. The original recipe, because there is an actual recipe on like all recipes for this, calls for a half of a stick of, or a whole stick of butter. I just can't for the life of me use a whole stick of butter. So I'm putting in like 2 tablespoons and I'm gonna throw it into my 12-inch non-stick stainless pan. I'm gonna throw that over some medium heat. Then we're going to dice up a medium onion. So I know, according to like, if you watch like Ann Burrell on the Food Network, I'm cutting this up wrong. I don't care. I'm just gonna cut the skin off the side. I thought about getting out the mandolin tonight, but really I only need to cut up this one onion and like an apple. So I'm not getting it out tonight, even though it's so fast. So I'm just going to give this a nice dice. It doesn't have to be all perfectly symmetrical. This is not being judged. Just needs to be small chunks of onion. If you have people in your family who are not fans of onion, you could totally puree this onion like in the manual food processor and they would not know, but the flavor would be there. My mom actually does that for my dad all the time because he doesn't think that he likes onions and garlic, but he totally does. And he eats it all the time. He just doesn't know that he eats it. And then I have a couple of cloves of garlic that are peeled. I'm just gonna take my 5-inch knife and smash the cloves to get them smaller. And I flung one on the ground, so we'll just throw that in the garbage disposal. And then just give that a little bit of a chop. Doesn't have to be perfect. You could totally use the garlic press. Our dishwasher is broken, so I'm trying to save on dishes. So this is basically it. This dinner, this pasta dish is egg noodles, an onion, garlic cloves, salt, pepper, cottage cheese and sour cream, and the butter. That's it. Done. And if you want to get fancy with it, some dried chives or some fresh chopped onion. Probably put some dried chives on there just to make it look pretty. All right, this butter is not all the way melted, but that's all right. I'm just gonna scoop this in with my flexible cutting mat. Love these because they're bendable, so I can just dump everything in and I'm good to go. All right, that's going to soften. We don't want it to get brown, so I'm actually going to be putting a tiny bit of salt on top of this mixture. And I have it over, like I said, medium heat, not medium high heat. And I just want it to get like the onions a little bit like translucent almost. I don't want them to be brown. This is a nice white pasta sauce. Spoon that or stir that butter around. There you go. Now, if you wanted your onions to get some color on them, to get a little caramelized and sugary, you would not want to put the salt in at this point because the salt draws out the moisture, and we want that to happen here, but we would not want that if we were caramelizing the onions. All right, let's get started on recipe number 2. We're gonna make a really easy salad, and part of our salad dressing is canned cranberry sauce. Now, I know that sounds really weird, but if you think about it, there's all these like raspberry balsamics and strawberry balsamics, cherry balsamics. Why can't there be a cranberry balsamic? So I'm gonna take this inexpensive balsamic vinegar and I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of just this jelly cranberry sauce in with the balsamic vinegar, because I didn't buy the super expensive balsamic vinegar and I want it to be a little bit sweeter and I want it to be a little bit more fruity. Oh, and I'm using our can opener here. This is a safety can opener. Notice how I opened it up on the side and then there's these little pinchers. So I can just pinch and lift, and I'm actually touching the outside here. It's not sharp at all. It's so easy and safe, because you've probably heard me say this before, this horror story. My friend Terry had not had this can opener and she threw away trash and she pushed the trash down and somebody had a can in the trash and it was not like a safety edge opened can, and it sliced her hand all up, and it just like gives me the heebie-jeebies. Please, if you are accident prone at all or you have kids or anything, you need this can opener, because even myself, I have cut myself so bad on cans and this is not sharp at all. All right, anyway, back to what I was saying. So we want to make a sweetened up, very delicious balsamic dressing. And I'm going to use this inexpensive vinegar, because if you were using a more expensive vinegar, it would be thicker, it would be sweeter, it would have a lot more flavor. I didn't buy the expensive one, I bought the inexpensive one. And I actually do this trick with balsamic vinegar a lot. If raspberries are in season, I'll use raspberry jam and balsamic vinegar. If it's cherry season, I'll use cherry jam and balsamic vinegar. It really works with just about anything. You could get white balsamic and mix peach jam in there. Just whatever you have in the bottom of the jar in the refrigerator. You know what, actually, I'm thinking I probably should have got a little bit bigger bowl. Hold, please. Cooking for real, you know. Let's put it in here so I don't slop balsamic vinegar all over the place. We just want to mash that cranberry sauce in with the balsamic vinegar. And I'm making way more than what's necessary for these 2 little salads that I'm going to do. And I'm totally eyeballing it. Like, if you want it more tart, add more vinegar. If you want it more sweet, add more cranberry sauce. Or jelly, whatever you're using. If you want it thinner, add more water. If you want it thicker, add more cranberry sauce or jelly. Like, it's really up to you. All right, so I'm gonna thin this out with a tiny little bit of olive oil. But before I do, I wanna show you another little trick. So, you know how we all have like dried fruit in the pantry and it's all like, looks, I don't know if you can see that, it's very raisin-like. There's nothing left in here. I am actually going to soak it in just the littlest bit of water and let this plump up a little bit. If you were to use super hot water, it would plump up faster, but I'm just gonna use tap water for this tonight, and I gotta get some olive oil. Hold on. I neglected to get the olive oil out. I'm just using about a tablespoon. I'm not using very much here. Just to add a little bit of body. Easy, right? Now, with the leftovers that are in this can, here are some other really great ideas. Everybody's heard about dump cake, right? take the rest of this can of cranberry sauce, add in a can of apple pie filling, cherry pie filling, raspberry pie filling, or just chopped up fruit. Put it in the bottom of a pan, dump cake mix over the top, add, and I don't mean a mixed cake mix, I mean like the dry powder of a cake mix over the top, pour a stick of butter over it, done. You have a dump cake, bake it in the oven. You could put this in ice cube tray, pop it in your smoothies. Again, the dressing, you could put this in your oatmeal. You could make this as like a dressing or a syrup for over pancakes if you mix it with other fruit, or you would just really like cranberries and thin it out. So many ideas. And I'm actually gonna post a link with recipes with cranberry sauce up here when we're done. All right, let's check on our onion, which is definitely getting there. It's not quite as soft as I would like it yet, but you can see it's starting to get a little translucent, and our pasta is actually done. So I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna show you a really cool trick. I wonder if I can show you here. So this lid comes off right here. This is like a boil over part of the lid. And I'm gonna pop this back on, and there's actually grates in the lid that let you pour the water out. So I don't really wanna move my whole camera, but you can probably hear it off to the side in my sink. I'm just using this as a strainer. So I'm not getting out another strainer, I'm not getting out another dish, I'm not doing anything. I'm literally straining the majority of my pasta water off right from this micro cooker, and we're calling it a day. Like, look, done. I'm just gonna set that off to the side while we wait for the rest of our sauce and we finish our salads. So let's work on the rest of these salads. Now that we have our delicious cranberry balsamic vinegar, we need to add some more toppings to this. I am using iceberg tonight, but you could use, I really love this actually with like spinach or arugula. You could use romaine, you can use whatever you have. I had iceberg. Now, Mr. Teacher does not like blue cheese. I'm doing crumbled gorgonzola, he's doing sharp cheddar. And we're gonna add an apple. So this is really easy to personalize. If you had, 4 people in your family who all like different cheese, do all 4 different cheese. You could do feta, that would be another really good option in here. Basically, whatever you have on hand. Now, I'm not doing anything fancy with this apple. I'm just chopping it up into bite-sized chunks and making sure I don't have any seeds in it. And this is a Gala apple. Honeycrisp would be great, Granny Smith would be great. Literally anything that you like. I don't recommend like a yellow delicious or a red delicious. I just think they're too mealy. But some kind of crisper apple that has a little bit of, sweetness and brightness to it. It's really good with the cranberry. This is like a take on the salad I bring to Thanksgiving dinner every single year. And yeah, I know it's February, but we all still have apples and cranberry obviously kicking around. So I'm gonna put about a half of an apple into each of the salads, totally eyeballing it. And I'm gonna go through these onions because I think we're almost ready to finish the sauce. All right, now I'm gonna put in a little bit of red onion, only on my side. Mr. Teacher doesn't like red onion, but I think that it adds a little something to this salad. And then just a little bit of carrot because of the sweetness, the crunch, and the color. So I'm just adding a little bit because I had like this hunk of carrot left over in our in the fridge for some reason too. So let's just use it up, shall we? And then some toasted walnuts. I have it here in this silicone bag. So I'm just gonna put those over the top. I toasted these actually in the microwave. You can toast them really easy in the microwave. Just lay them out on a plate and put them in for about a minute. When they start to smell nice and toasty, take them out. If they need another 30 seconds or so, just do it on like 30-second increments. All right, let's work on the rest of our sauce. Our onions look like they're done. They smell like they're done. So now we're going to put in our main ingredient, cottage cheese. This is a low-fat cottage cheese, but you could use any you would like. I would not, though, recommend the fat-free cottage cheese, it's just not that good. It doesn't have any flavor. I'm gonna eyeball this. This is a 28-ounce container of cottage cheese. You need about 1.5 cups of cottage cheese. And you're just going to put that in with your onions. And then sour cream, because you have to have sour cream in this. And I'm gonna get another one. You know when I tell you I have like a million of these? It's because I do things like this. You need sour cream. So about 1 cup of sour cream. And we're just gonna stir that together. And the cottage cheese is going to melt, and the sour cream is going to get all extra creamy and mix in with those onions and the garlic. It's gonna be so flavorful and delicious. So it's gonna look just like this. And now we're going to add in our pasta. I'm just gonna dump that right over the top. And don't be worried if there's a little water in there. It's not a problem at all. We'll actually thin down the sauce a little bit and give the sauce a little bit of body. And the flour, the starch on the pasta, will help thicken the sauce. So it's not a problem whatsoever. And now we just want to stir this to coat the noodles, because the noodles are pretty much done, but we want them to get a little bit more done. And when they cook in the sauce, they absorb the sauce and they absorb that flavor, and they get really, really nice and delicious. So I'm just going to stir this up until our pasta is coated. And our final ingredient is lots of cracked black pepper. And I kind of mean a lot. And give that one more little stir. And I'm just gonna let this sit for a minute while we finish our salad, and then I'll show you the deliciousness that is Noodles Romanoff. Or if you look at the all recipes, it's Polish pasta or whatever, which I think is interesting. I've never, ever, ever heard it called that in my entire life. So yeah. All right, let's finish this salad. And I'm gonna probably sneeze because of that pepper. So I apologize in advance if I sneeze very loud. All right, so last bit of our salad. I'm really gonna try not to sneeze. Look at the light, right? Did I already put nuts on here? I did. Now it's time to put on our dressing and our cranberries. I'm gonna, you know what, drain these off a little bit. Because remember, we put those cranberries in the water and they plumped up a little. They look a lot better. If you wanted to do it a little longer, like I said, here comes the sneeze. Very sorry. I knew that was going to happen. If you wanted to do this in the microwave with like 30 seconds worth of like hot water or some boiling water, it really would add to the juiciness of your dried fruit. Oh my goodness. And it does do that it does work with any dried fruit, dried blueberries, dried cranberries, dried cherries, even raisins. Like if you're gonna put them in a cookie or something, it just adds like a little something, something. You could do it in the vinegar itself, warmed up. I have done that before. If you're doing like something like a rice pudding, like I did a couple of weeks ago, you could soak them in brandy. That's warm, and they would be extremely delicious. All right, so we have our lettuce, our cheese. This is cheddar, this is blue cheese, red onion, apple, cranberries, walnuts. We need dressing. So I'm just gonna put a little of our cranberry balsamic over the top, like a little tablespoon, just a little bit. And then some black pepper as well. I will try not to sneeze this time. I'll not breathe, right? Give this a little stir again. Our cottage cheese is almost melting down. Maybe turn it up just a little. I actually had a little bit extra water in there that I want to cook off. All right, and let's toss this salad up. Some other ideas to use up cottage cheese: you could put it in a strainer or in a cheesecloth or even in a clean hand towel and get that extra whey off of it. and you could use it just like ricotta cheese in a cannoli or in a lasagna. I just actually did a stovetop lasagna with cottage cheese because I seem to always have cottage cheese on hand and I don't always have ricotta, so you can pretty much swap them out. You can also freeze cottage cheese, just an FYI, if you're gonna go on vacation or something. Make a cheese blends and use that strained cottage cheese in the inside. If you don't know what that is, it is essentially a crepe with cream cheese that's sweetened, and cream cheese and cottage cheese that's sweetened inside this crepe with like fruit over the top. It's so fabulous. One of my favorite breakfasts, actually. And I have a really good recipe for that I will post. You can puree your cottage cheese in a pancake and make like a blintz pancake with fruit on top of it, and it just adds a little extra something something. You can put it in a dip, so you're not using as much cream cheese and it's not as fattening. Put it on your salad mixed with blue cheese, so again, you're not using up as many calories. I really love it, just cottage cheese and pineapple. Please tell me I'm not the only one that eats cottage cheese and fruit, like canned peaches or canned pineapple, or just like French dressing, like red French dressing. Maybe people not everywhere know what that is, but in Michigan, red French is like a legit thing, and you put it on like French and blue cheese, but we also do like French and cottage cheese. I know that sounds weird. Please trust me on this one. But cottage cheese is super handy and it's pretty healthy and it's inexpensive. So I will post links for both of the cranberry sauce recipes and for the cottage cheese recipes. And I'm gonna show you what our delicious pasta looks like right now. But I don't really want to char my countertop up. So let's put this down. All right. Now, this is all bubbly and creamy, and our cheese is melting down, and our pasta's all coated, and my glasses are all fogging up. And those little cottage cheese bits have melted into our yummy sauce. And the only thing that I would do that I didn't do tonight is possibly cut up some fresh green onion. I just don't have any. I did have fresh chives in the garden, but I did not get them out. I do have dried chives that we can put over the top just to add that little something something. Now, I will tell you, when I'm not using my Pampered Chef spices, I am using Penzeys. So Pampered Chef does not have just plain chives. So I am using these freeze-dried chives that are from Penzeys, and I'm just gonna put a little bit over the top. Actually, I'm gonna put a lot over the top. I love fresh chives or dried chives. And that's it. We have dinner. It's been maybe 25 minutes, start to finish, one pan, one microwave dish, couple of bowls. This will feed Mr. Teacher and I tonight and probably lunch tomorrow, but it would easily feed a family of 4. It doesn't really cost that much money. A bag of egg noodles is like $1.25 right now. So it's very inexpensive and it's healthy. You could stir in a couple scoopfuls of like super veggie in here, which I'm probably gonna do too after we get off, and call it a dinner. Everything can go in the microwave when we're done, and that's it. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, if you know, anything, just let me know. I'm here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see what we cook up next month. Thank you to all of you who voted. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye.